Hey everybody, welcome back to the Gaming Coop. I'm Aaron.
And this is Jess.
And today we're going to be taking a look back at Gears 5 and the time we spent with it. We'll just be chatting about that.
Co-op mode.
Co-op mode. Okay, so thanks for sticking around, and we're going to be talking a little bit about Gears 5, like we said. And so, you are not a particular fan of the franchise.
Yeah, no. I mean,
Nothing against it, you just really didn't.
no.
Yeah. So, this was actually your first run through and going through a full,
Yeah, the full
Gears of
game.
War title,
Yep.
right? So, I myself been a big fan since Xbox 360. I fell in love with them back then and played through almost all of them, with the exception of Judgment. I never played that one because basically all the changes and stuff I heard, I just didn't really grab my interest. I don't know, maybe someday I'll play through it. But this title had a lot of changes to the franchise and the way the games are designed and handled and stuff, which I think some were most I would say were well received by me. Again, as someone who's seen a lot, being a fan of the franchise for so long and seeing a lot of those changes take place, I think that they were definitely moves in the right direction. I would have liked to have seen them do a little bit more. We're gonna get into some of that. Anyway, so some definite changes to the franchise but even you knew about. Again, not being a big fan of it or anything, was the more open map feel,
Yeah.
a non-linear game, which is, Gears has always been very much, God of War, that type of title, when you're moving through, and the path is pretty much straight ahead of you, which, for me, I actually appreciate a lot of that. I know you more open world title guy.
There's some down here where I'm at.
Fallout, a lot of games that just completely open map, open world.
Yeah, I can appreciate both.
Yeah, lots to do in those games. I like, for the sake of time, with obvious exceptions, Zelda, games like that. I played some Fallout. Actually, even the new God of War was pretty open, considering, past titles in that franchise.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed the newest God of War installment, and I think this game touches on that a little bit. Especially when you get into one interesting thing I thought was kind of fun, especially now given, I'm not going to say that all this information is biased. It's not really biased. It's from the co-op player's perspective, which, in all honesty,
I'm digging that.
almost any game you play co-op is going to be more fun than by yourself.
Yeah.
It doesn't always matter what you're playing. They're just going to be a lot more fun playing with friends. So you've got that, but the skiff being a big thing. You saw that in a lot of the trailers and stuff for the game, and it made me kind of curious. Which, I was going to pick this title up either way. I think I was kind of surprised when you wanted to pick it up and give it a run through together, because, like I said, it's not really your franchise necessarily. But yeah, I think we had a good time with that. The interesting thing about the skiff was weapon storage, which was a nice little feature.
Yeah, you could store a couple heavies on there.
Which was handy. Not that I've ever had, playing through Gears, there's ever been a shortage or lack of available ammunition. At least it's not very prevalent. But it was nice to be able to just throw a heavy on each side of that skiff and take off.
Mm-hmm.
We had some fun moving around the map and finding little secrets here and there, and you collect some
Little components for the...
Oh, absolutely. And we'll definitely talk about that. That being a big piece of the design in this game. But yeah, I feel like that they definitely spent some time at least investing in a slightly open world feel. it does feel like that you have a little more control over the game in games like that, where you can really decide what you want to do or you don't want to do in the moment. You know, back to what you were saying, the big thing, especially for me seeing it, is the upgrades to Jack, and that being a huge change in the playability of the game and stuff like that. Actually, Jack that starts off as David, which we just thought was hilarious anyway. And so Jack is really become, actually, he's more like a part of the squad now, whereas he was always just, he was there before, but you don't really do anything with him. Now you've got to use Jack to move through levels.
Yeah.
Because you got to send him up
Open
somewhere.
doors
Absolutely. Open doors, send him up through whatever to flip a switch in the other room you can't get to.
And he's even a playable character.
Exactly. And, you know, I never did, neither one of us ever played as Jack. I thought it would be fun, and maybe we'll go back through, and one of us will play as Jack and just see what that's like. I would like to try that out just for fun and just see what it was like. I mean, I know you lose some of that run and gun experience that Gears offers, which is definitely my style game, which is probably why I've always enjoyed Gears so much. But it would be interesting to do it actually from that perspective. Is he has some great mods that you can do in collecting the components, and we unlocked a bunch of them, upgraded a bunch of them. It wasn't real tedious to find a lot of the components.
It was kind of rewarding. Some of them were kind of hidden, so you felt like
It was.
I found it. I found a secret. You know.
There was a few times that I felt like I found a really good one. It was one component.
Well, yeah.
And I was like, really? That was a good, I think it was the maximum 5.
That's
if you find one that's
biggest I
worth
saw,
5. Yeah. A lot of them were 3s, a couple were 5s, you know, you get 1s, which is nice in the fact that you get more than one component because you have the ability, as you can really rack them up faster, and you have the ability to really upgrade Jack more quickly and efficiently, which is nice. The fact that Jack's a weapon on the field is fantastic.
Yes.
Probably the cloaking thing was absolutely great. I really enjoyed that. The shield.
The shield. Yep.
There were a few of them that we upgraded. I mean, we kind of used. The hacking thing was kind of interesting. You could actually send Jack out to hack some of the other bots and stuff that went berserk, and you can actually, of course, I like the ones where you can steal the shield for a little bit, and that was kind of, I mean, it's a time thing, you know, it's going to time out and go back, but there was a lot of stuff. But I think probably the biggest problem, not a problem, one of the biggest failures I had was not using Jack more extensively in the heat of battle. I think he could have benefited us a lot more.
Oh yeah, I'm sure to fully utilize him, probably almost be overpowered, you know.
And I feel like I forget he's there.
Yeah, it is.
Like, because we're
caught up in the.
You do. There was a couple moments in this game, and not that we played it on extreme difficulty or anything. We had a hard time getting through.
Yes.
You know, we'll delve into a little bit more of that, but yeah. So the utilization of Jack moving throughout the levels was pretty fun, and I thought that was an interesting mechanic. Something that I never really thought about in previous installments. That, oh, you should be able to do more stuff with Jack. I mean, I probably did think about it at some point, but didn't just, you know, stew on it and think like, oh, this would be so great if they would just throw this feature in there, and you know. But it was a welcome addition, I definitely think, to this installment. The other thing I think I really felt like they invested in was the multiplayer modes.
Oh, big time! Yeah, they advertised that.
Yeah, and I really think, of course, I mean, if anybody's seen anything on this game, you're right. You saw it in the ads, you saw stuff, and they really pushed the multiplayer modes, which we didn't. In fairness, did not really access a lot of that. We played some Horde.
Yeah, just
and moving
2 or 3 hours of.
Yeah, moving through the waves of enemies, and it's kind of fun. You know, we didn't really even use the manufacturing deal, the generator deal, where you can set up turrets and defend. I mean, we just moved through the web, just killed them as the waves came in. But that was a feature that's not totally new. There was that stuff in Gears 4, I believe, that I messed around with a little bit. I was actually very excited for this installment because Gears 4 kind of left me, which I know you never played Gears 4. Gears 4 kind of left me definitely wanting more. I moved through the game and it had some fun moments, but not like that. Now to reflect back on that, maybe go back through Gears 4 and play a co-op mode. It'd be a lot more fun, as most all games are. So anyway, I mean, there's definitely more to it than that, but those are just some of the things that I picked up on and we saw as we moved through the story campaign as we were moving through. I think some of the things, the unchanged things, we'll talk a little bit about that they really, to me, I feel like Gears did well, and I'm glad they didn't change it. Number one, for me, being the control scheme. The only reason I never played Judgment as all that is because they completely redesigned the control scheme and stuff like that. So I just never took the time to pick it up. And because when I heard that, it kind of killed it for me. I don't know, maybe that's unfair. I don't know. I just didn't have a big interest in it. And for me, I love the simplicity of the control scheme in Gears. I think it's pretty easy for anyone to just pick up and start playing. It doesn't take much to learn the button functions, and there's really not a lot to it. It's about as easy as it gets. Other than Jack having his mod system in there's no weapon mods. Which some people would say takes away from the game. I don't know. I've never been one that really likes spending a lot of time.
It's the experience you're looking for.
It's to me to throw that in there on Gears at this point would be taken away from the game for me, because I'm like, this is so. It was just so much easier before. Now given, I mean, I realize now there was a couple new weapons in this one, but you give up some stuff not having a weapon mod system. I get that. This game just isn't centered around that. It just doesn't play that way. Halo doesn't have that.
Nope.
I mean, Halo, he does fine as a run and gun, and it doesn't invest in that either. I mean, you got a lot of games that do, and you got a lot of games that don't, and I think that's okay. Over the shoulder view, I always appreciated in the other installments as well. Didn't change that. I play first person as well. Huge fan of Doom, of course, which is first person. Love it, absolutely love it. But I appreciate the over the shoulder as well, because I like being able to see my players sometimes. Sometimes the first person, you don't always land where you think you're going to land. I mean, I do that anyway. And then of course there's the overall grit. What I call grit in Gears, it's just kind of that. I mean, it's a very well polished game, don't get me wrong. It's like a gritty universe. You know what I mean? It's kind of like I don't even have a good comparison for that. I don't really have. There is no really other shooter game to me that has that kind of grit to it. Really, I was actually going to compare it to Marvel and DC. We had this discussion before. Like DC, I know, got to step up their game, but they're not. Marvel doesn't have the grit that DC has with some of their stuff. Kind of the darker tones and just kind of, the dialogue in Gears is kind of gritty. I know it's hokey at times, but the voice acting is usually pretty good. So it just had that same type of grit that you've come to expect from any Gears installment. So, likes and dislikes. So, obviously, with any game, you've got things you like and some things you just don't really appreciate. What do you got?
Yeah, I mean, the Jack was pretty nice. I liked it overall sometimes because he had the ability to heal a downed character.
Oh, yes.
But it was frustrating when he wouldn't.
I know.
I'm not sure if we were missing prompts, or maybe, I don't know if you called him to do it, but I mean, he would do it all on his own, so we knew he was capable of that. But
I know you could send him to heal down comrades,
but if you're getting attacked,
but if you're in the heat of battle again, the same reason that we didn't utilize everything you could do before.
Correct.
Because I don't know. Maybe we're just not that good.
Overall,
Maybe I can't multitask very well when
Yeah.
I'm getting shot at. I don't
Well,
know.
yeah, I'll agree with the keep it simple. I'm all about that.
And that's what I just I like to be able to just step into a game, especially a game like Gears. It's a run and gun game.
Yeah.
You don't need to overcomplicate it. This is how they're built, and I think they do a pretty good job of that. The story progression. I find myself, and not just this game, in a lot of games, that I get lost sometimes moving chapter to chapter in the story progression.
Yeah.
I did get a little bit lost in this one, but not bad. It was
Yeah.
like my biggest problem is with any game is when I step away from the game. We got a couple days we don't play,
Yeah.
and I try to jump back in. What are we doing? Where are we at? Where do we stop? I have that problem with almost any game, but it does kind of hurt the story progression for a little bit, and that's we got lives and responsibilities outside of this. You know what I mean? I can't just trap all this in memory
Right. Yeah.
indefinitely.
But it might get annoying if the characters just keep harping of what's going on. You're like, I know already. I mean,
That's
it'd be
true.
nice. There's probably a delicate balance. They might say it once or twice.
That's true. Definite like. I did not run through this one single player, and neither did you. But a definite like on our side is the co-op.
Yes.
It was frustrating sometimes, not due to the game itself. I think it was the service.
Yeah. There was some buggy areas about joining and
Right. Well, when we first got it started, we had random people jumping in with us.
Yeah.
Which we had to lock that down because
which took a minute.
it did. It was kind of weird. I thought how that worked to move through the settings and actually stop it.
Yeah.
Anyway, that may be more prevalent in other online games. We're not online gamers, really at all. So that could be a thing you find in other games. But once we got through that, the only real issues were technical issues. Like you didn't have volume sometimes. Like you had no
Audio.
You had what was weird.
I had sound effects
Yeah.
audio, but not dialogue or.
You got the music and the loading screen.
I got the music
But-
and some of the notification.
That's so weird. Like I don't even know how that works. How you can get some and not all.
Two separate times. Well,
Right.
we decided to wait until you got into a new area or it loaded into, and then I'd hop in and it'd go away.
It was just a glitch thing.
Yeah,
I know it was just
happened
weird.
a few separate times.
Yeah, it was just a glitch thing, I guess. So
There's I know.
you did have some dropouts where
Yeah.
I'd be talking to you and you're just gone.
Yeah,
and you're like, and it doesn't even notify me that you left the game sometimes.
yeah, because the computer just picks the guy up, starts playing.
He does. Like I don't even know you're gone because
Which is handy if
it is in that sense. Like I'm not left alone and kind of in my because there's really, probably playing through single player campaign as well. It's going to be the same structure, but it's pretty much only just two of you all the time. Now those characters change a little bit through the game, but there's only two of you and then Jack. Jack's your number 3. So actually, it'd be interesting to get a third person in and just either one of us run as Jack or have them run as Jack, depending on their familiarity with the game. It'd be
Yeah.
faster if one of us did it, but that might be an interesting thing to move through and just try that out with another person. So I think the playability is there. I don't know other than going into like horde mode or survival or whatever some of the other multiplayer modes are in this one, which they have invested extensively in. Give them credit for that. I don't know about the replayability of this one. As far as unless you were jumping into a multiplayer or another co-op of some kind, like adding a third friend or whatever, that would obviously give it replay value.
right. I mean, the story was told.
Yeah, exactly. There's no real new surprise. The story was decent.
I don't think this is one of those that have different endings.
I don't think so.
Well, maybe, because you have that choice there at the end without spoiling.
That's true. There is a distinct choice in there that could affect
I
the
see
potential ending of the game. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. There is a couple moments in there where player 1 has to make a decision
Right. Yeah.
about the way things are going to move through, which I thought was interesting. One moment, definitely, is a decision making factor. But I don't really know about the outcome of the game. What effect that would really have. Who knows? I mean, anyway. So, but did definitely enjoy moving through the co-op part of the game. Did really enjoy it. Even with the minor technical hiccups and glitches
Oh,
here
yeah.
and there. You're going to have that in online gaming. Servers aren't perfect. It happens. Stuff has little hiccups here. You got to reload.
Your own connection.
Right, absolutely. So we can't really fault the game for that. You know what I mean? They were minor most of the time. Like, we never had a session, except for the one. It was really frustrating, where we were just like, you know what, we're just going to try it again tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
We never stopped, and just said, just forget it. Something's down. We're just not going to play. So like I said, they were minor. Dislikes, I know, for me, I thought the load times were just abysmal sometimes. To me, I thought the load times were a little long. I feel that way about a lot of games when I feel like I'm downloading 50 gig onto my console. Like, why do I have load times at all if I've already got half the game downloaded to my console and moved through, right? I mean, it just seems to me, I don't know, I thought the load times were a little excessive sometimes. Now, part of that would be because we died a lot. So
You're
we
frustrated.
Died. You're
because
frustrated.
yeah.
Right. We die. It's hard to believe we are not top-notch gamers. There may have been a time that we were. It's not anymore. We have fun with it, but we're not.
I choose to take the delusional road. I'm
Really?
the best of the best of the best, sir, with honors.
With honors, Okay, well, I believe that you believe that, and we'll just leave it at that. So, I honestly, here's the funny thing. I think I died more than you did. Some of
No,
that was due to my own.
I had my
because-
days. It was funny because when one of us, it would just be the same person just over and over,
That's true.
and then
there's,
and then that person would be so frustrated,
man.
and the other person feels for him, so they're just kind of like nervous laugh.
Yeah.
We'll get it.
Yeah, oh no, it's cool, man. We'll get it. It's fine. It's fine. Of course, I game with a healthy dose. I've always got snacks in front of me, and so that's snack break for me. When I'm waiting on the load back in because I'm dead again. So I seize that opportunity and make it productive in my mind. So, but move directly to the next point: difficulty. Game difficulty in this one, we set it on intermediate.
Yeah, which is like a normal.
Normal, yeah, because I mean we're not out there trying to excel or break records. We want enough challenge,
Especially the first playthrough. You
Oh,
just
right,
want
yeah.
to get through the story, know what's going on.
Absolutely, we want enough challenge that it is a challenge. You don't just breeze through the game, but not so much that like this is absolutely insane. How does anybody get through this part? We don't. I don't aim for that in any game, really, ever.
It almost felt like you went through both extremes in the intermediate.
I think there were definitely moments where we had struggles along the way, of course. There were definitely moments where it seemed like the difficulty advanced. Now, given they were later stages in the game, so as you move through the game, it does tend to increase the difficulty slightly,
Right, yeah.
no matter what you set it on, because you're reaching harder points in the game. They gave you the easy ones, and with any progression in a game, it tends to get a little more challenging. Because along the way, you've picked up things that help you get through the more challenging points. I mean, that's just video game protocol, I think. I mean, everything's that way.
Yeah.
But there were times in this one, we had one point especially, we spent an hour and a half
Probably.
getting
easily.
through one area. Now, it was later in the game, and we tried different strategies along. That's where I died a lot, because I'll run out there and just take fire sometimes when I probably shouldn't. But you're looking for that strategy to load through, and
Yeah, that was a particular area. Yeah, it's almost like it's a formula. There's
Absolutely,
one successful formula that you got to hit this area. This wave comes in.
Right.
It's just and through the mixture of the weapons available, you're dropping stuff, picking up just for this wave, and that one area alone really made me
You know the one I'm talking about. I don't remember what the name of that was, but it was later on. But you know the one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're right. I think there is a formula because as with again a lot of games, the spawns don't change really.
No.
Like
Yeah.
some of the minor enemies where they spawn in and at what time may vary slightly, but like your heavy enemies that come in, they always come in at the same time. They're waiting for you to kill this last guy, and then they're going to come in over here on the right or the left or whatever. You know what I mean? And that really didn't change through that point in the game. But we still struggle because we were trying different tactics. Like, how are you supposed to get through this part? Because they're in front of you, and then they're behind you, and then they're coming in on the side. And your AI guys, I think they're killing some of them, but
You
I
wonder.
really felt like it was just me and you most of the time. You know, and of course, they're really there. Your AI teammates are really there for more effect.
Yeah, you don't want them doing the heavy lifting.
Right.
That's your job.
That's your job, absolutely. They're just more there to help move the game forward. You know, it's chatter coming through between your squad mates that just adds to the richness of the story. You know, you feel like you've got some character investment and even your AI squad mates, right?
Yeah.
So, and I feel like they did pretty well with that. I'd give it a fair rating on that. So, I mean, anyway, so I don't know. I mean, as always, number one, don't listen to us. Play the game for yourself. See if you enjoyed it. I mean, that's what we do. We look out there for something, and you know, just because so and so said it was good doesn't mean it was good, or said it was bad doesn't mean it was bad. I mean, I can say that we enjoyed it, enjoyed moving through it. So, just one of those things. Just try it out for yourself and see what you think. So, what do you think? You got anything else to add to that?
No. I mean, it was good. I would play it again.
I
Run through it
definitely would.
again.
I'd like to move through some of the multiplayer stuff.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll do that in the future. Oh, that was also a point I want to make on, you know, we kind of mixed up the recording versus live streaming. So we did a few live streams while we were playing. And, you know, so I didn't record everything that we were doing and moving through. There's some stuff I wish I would have got recorded. But it may be on our live stream. And sometimes we didn't do anything. We just played a little bit. So, I mean, not everything is video worthy, I should say. But you know, we just want to have some fun with it. Maybe you know, do this video, do some streaming, whatever. Especially now that we're working on that better streaming rig that I got set up upstairs. So we'll probably do some more of that in the future. So you know, be looking out for that. If you're interested in seeing us do some more live streams on YouTube, I've actually been looking into maybe we'll do some Twitch live streams or something, or Facebook. So Facebook's got a new game creator thing that you can kind of set up and do, and I've tried with that, and now it won't let me in. So anyway, we're not getting into that. But anyway, you know, thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for listening. And you know, if you haven't yet, or interested, or even care at all, you know, like, subscribe, leave us a comment. We'd love to get a comment. Actually, we don't get a lot of comments, so I don't just tell us we suck. I don't care. I mean, whatever. Just at least, you know, just start a conversation. So anyway, if you haven't done that, guys, just hit us up on the channel and let us know. So
No.
I like that. That's local elevator.
That's why I sound so familiar.